Our Coping in the Time of COVID series continues this afternoon with a story that might surprise you. Some people report being happier this year than before the pandemic hit. In some parts of the world, people aren't just surviving, they're thriving. And as News 4's Chris Glorioso explains, there are some lessons we can learn from them.
In a global pandemic, it's worth noting the heartbreak and sorrow are universal. No matter what corner of the earth you call home, we have all heard the sirens, seen the mass burials, the food lines, the lonely deaths.
I FaceTimed the family while the man was dying.
The anguish is global. But a survey released in October suggests there are corners of the earth where people are somehow finding peace in the pandemic. According to that survey of 27 nations, 63% of people across the globe say they are happy. That's only a 1% drop from last year's pre-COVID number. Now, some countries have seen steep declines in satisfaction with life. Canada, Australia, the U.S., all reporting being 8 or 9% less happy. Mexico, Chile, Peru, all down double digits. But then there are the countries that have actually increased happiness despite the pandemic. Hard-hit Italy is 5% happier. Argentina, 9% happier. Russia and China report being 11% happier. In the most depressing year any of us remember. How is that even possible?
There is a deep longing for connections.
Nicolas Boyan is Senior Vice President of Ipsos, the firm that authored the survey. He told us keeping relationships despite social distance is a key to pandemic happiness. Take, for example, Argentina, the birthplace of tango. Here, happiness has increased 5% during the pandemic. Argentine tango dancers Miriam Larici and Leonardo Barrionuevo say they have tried to encourage happiness by organizing virtual milongas, basically dance parties over Zoom. Hundreds have joined, turning their living rooms and backyards into dance floors. It brings smiles to people's faces, even when they dance alone.
Everybody needs to be part of a group now, especially now.
In the survey, another driver of happiness was family. In China, happiness increased by 11%, and being closer to spouses and children is a big reason. With the help of New York's Chinese Cultural Center, I talked about that with Bishi and Kaidan, two young professionals in Beijing. They told me the pandemic allowed them to go home and spend time with parents, something that made their parents especially extremely happy. Family and relationships are big, but the survey showed health was the biggest driver of happiness. Again, China may be a good example. Here there are faster tests and fewer infections. Nancy Yao Mosbach is president of New York's Museum of Chinese in America.
It takes 6 minutes to get a test. In Beijing, it's a major safety component, health and safety infrastructure thing that's a stress that they absolutely don't have.
Now, there may be little average Americans can do about long COVID testing lines. But the global survey shows us by focusing on the people closest to us, even if they're thousands of miles away, there can be happiness in the time of COVID. Reporting from home, Chris Glorioso, News 4 New York.